Hi friends, it's Pam with Silver and Sparkles, and I've got some fun pockets for us to make today. I've got two different ways to make them, and I think they're great. This is another one of those wonderful stash builders if you want to have, why that's doing that, have some things on hand, right? And you could make just the pockets and then stuff them or coordinate them, you know, with whatever you're making. I decided to pull out my fancy florals kit, and I haven't played with it in a while, and I love it. And there's some sheets in here that are definitely in a fall palette with all the little fussy cuts, and there's some words and things. So I decided to pull it out and play a little bit, and I hope you guys like this. Now, some of these I have made using flat paper bags, and I'm pretty sure I've shown you something similar in the past, but I've got a lot of new viewers, so we're going to play with the bags again. But then some people don't have bags, and this is a similar look. You can do you can orient these any way you want. This one I only did one pocket, but I certainly could have put more pockets on there. So I'm going to show you a couple of options, and you can, you know, decide how you want to make yours. Use any paper that makes you happy. If you like this kit, it is available in my Etsy shop. There should be a link in the video and also in the video description. So there you go. I'm trying to get a little fancy. So let's get started and see what we can make today. The bags I am using, I got on Amazon, and they measure 5 by 7.5 all the way to the end, okay? And they open like that. Again, I think you can make this with whatever size you want. So let's make a few with bags, and then we'll make some just with the paper to give you another option in case you don't have bags to craft with. Okay, so the first thing is this one that I did. I decided to have them, you know, go this way. This, and it used one bag. This used 2 bags, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pockets. And if you put this on a journal page, you could have a pocket this way or this way, depending on how you glue it down. So lots there, and this one has the 1, 2, and then there could be a third. And you can turn them any way you want. So let's make the big one first. And I am eyeballing this. You know, I like to look and have about, I don't know, what is that? 3/4 of an inch or so from where this bag ends and this little opening is. So I'm just eyeballing it. If you want to score yours, score it at 3 inches, that first fold. Now this can be the one for the individual, or you can lay another bag, the one you folded, lay it right on top of another bag like this, and then fold this one over. And you can kind of play with it. This one's going to be a little bit bigger, so I'm going to bring it up just a touch. Okay. And then we're going to layer this, see how easy, and glue it all together, and it's going to be fabulous. If you want to score your second bag, look at that, score it at 2 inches. So score one bag at 2, one bag at 3, and then just layer them over if your bags are this size. Okay, I'm going to get these out of my way. I feel like they're in my way. All right, now I thought it was cool using one piece of paper, and I have some of the papers from the kit. Let's use this one. This is one of my favorites. And I'm going to show you how I cut it to get the most out of one piece. So I know my bags are 5 inches tall, so I'm going to cut a section of this paper 4 3/4 inches. All right. And then this first layer needs, I want it to be 1 3/4. So I'm going to turn this, and I'm going to start chopping from the bottom because I want to, you kind of get a visual. Let me show you with this one. Get everything out of the pockets. I kind of pieced the paper back together after I cut it into strips, and you can see the pattern Not that it really matters, especially if you are stuffing it full of little things like I am, but I think that's kind of cool. So this would be our first layer right there, and it'll get inked and everything. And again, depending on how you fold yours, you know, if you just kind of wing it, you'll have to look and measure just a little bit. This one looks like I need it to be 3/4 of an inch. So again, working from that same section, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger just to make it easier to work with. It can slide down in there some, it'll be fine. All right, so it's going to look like this. You can see that little tip of the white of the flower. I'm going to make this one 1 inch. Again, it will be wide enough. It gives me a little more room to work. That one will go there. Now, I need one to go inside this bag. Let's see. And I usually put one behind here too, I think. They have a little bit of color. Let's do, and we'll decide if we're going to use them. Let's cut 2 more strips. 3 more. 1, 2, 3, and then we'll see. And I have enough. So we're going to, again, we're just going to go with 1 inch strips, but I am going to attempt to keep them in order so that they're easy to lay down. I'm not sure if I need another one, so I'm going to wait. I'm going to set this here, and we'll cut 1 more 1 inch strip if I do need it. Okay. So let me just stack these in order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Now, I don't glue my pocket together until I get these layers on because I like the option of, it's just for me easier to glue down, and I like having it overlap. If you glue all this together, then you have to get each little piece in there perfectly. And I, even though when I was a little girl, I would say, I'm perfect, Pam. I perk it, Pam. Couldn't say perfect. And it's only because my parents told me all the time that I was perfect. Not that I was. Anyway, perfect and I we're not good friends these days. We are, and we're not enemies, but I just don't think things need to be perfect, right? Things can be beautiful just the way they are. All right, this one is going to go next. So I'm just layering them in. Isn't it fun how a paper bag can end up looking so pretty? Look at that. Love it. Okay, the next layer. So if you guys tried to join me yesterday, if you're watching this today, the video comes out, but basically on Wednesday, October 15th, if you tried to join me for my live and you saw all the not technical issues that I had going live. I've gone live before, and I don't know, it seems like the more I try to plan and prepare, the worse it goes. So we'll see about that. But the good news is this. I do think I have solved the issue with the camera orientation. Yay. I deleted the YouTube app and reinstalled it, and it now seems to be letting me stream horizontally. So we'll see, hopefully next week that will still be working. Now this tab is going to go inside this layer of the bag, or in the inside of the bag, so that we have it lined. So what I do with this is the top. I just add glue maybe to that, that first bit, because things are going to be going this way into the pocket, and this makes it just easier to slide in, not having glue on the bottom half of this strip. okay? And then I just stick it down. It's not going anywhere. This bag is covering it up, okay? Now, let me decide if we need one here, and then I'll go back to explaining my YouTube fiasco. Yeah, I think I'm just going to leave that one without a layer of the pattern paper. I think it looks fine. So anyway, I think I have it figured out. The sound thing I definitely figured out yesterday, unless, again, something just awful happens. So if you were looking forward to the live, whoops, same thing. I'm going to put the glue at the top. If you were looking forward to the live and you were disappointed, I am so sorry. I did finally get going a little bit. I mean, it was still the small screen, not the full screen. And we chatted some. I did do a giveaway. I'm going to try to remember to do a giveaway. You guys can remind me if I don't mention it during my lives. Yesterday, I gave away a whole journal. It wasn't a huge journal, but it probably won't be something, you know, that big every time, simply because of the postage, you guys. Postage is crazy, but anyway, congratulations. I believe it was Diane who won. Yay! And I'm going to get that shipped off to her. But and if you want to ink on the bag some, you can before we start gluing. And I'm going to show you how to glue these pockets. It's not hard, but anyway, so it ended up okay. Thank you for being so positive. All right, this first one is going to be that first pocket where you're just going to glue on the two sides. And on this first one, I do tend to just put a little glue right there. It just makes me feel like things are going to hold better. I don't know why, but there we go. All right, and then all we're going to do is open this up and, you know, glue each one as a pocket. So on just the top and the bottom sides. Whoa. So anyway, whoo, live fiasco. We're going to try again. I think we'll have fun if I can ever get it going. And again, thank you guys for being supportive and positive and not complaining. I appreciate it. And thank you to Amy and Sala, who both helped, and to Daniel, who helped, and everybody trying to help. I appreciate it. Okay. Now, again, depending on how you want to use this, you can have it be top load pockets or side load pockets. All right. I'm going to just embellish. I'm not going to worry about making the things to go in it right now, but I do want to embellish a little bit and give you some ideas. I have this strip left, and let me show you. On this one, I actually cut out the flower. It's a layer that was on the paper on this side, and then left it, kind of turned it. So anyway, just gave it some more dimension, and that was really fun. This flower is kind of close to that one. For funsies, let's cut it out and just sort of see. And it has another layer under it too. Let's just see what it looks like with this cut out just a little bit. I don't know if I'm gonna like it or want to use it, but I do like, of course, that layered look. And some of it I think will just depend on if it makes sense. It's not the same flower, so. It's not horrible. I'm not loving it. Let's add some ink and see if that helps. And I also, this kit came with a page of sayings. So we may, let's see, whoo, and bunch of fussy cuts, that kind of thing. I cut it in half, but I've already used one of them. How about one of my most favorites of them all is Be the Light. Let's do a tear. Now, I did print this on 90-pound cardstock, but it's still tearing without a problem. There we go. I may want to make it a touch smaller. All right, I'm thinking something like that maybe. It's easier to go closer to the print and make it smaller if you do it on the first tear than tearing it multiple times. This is a good piece to keep to write on. Write some words on. All right. And these do start looking, in my mind, really pretty as we get things tucked in and ribbon lace. And some of my fall and neutral seam binding ribbons, I think, go really well with this kit. I also pulled some of these kind of meshy, I don't know even what this is called, but and I may do something like this. That'd be pretty. Would it be better with the lighter color? And I also have that kind of red color. Oh, I think I like the lighter one. Sometimes I need to pick up the correct scissors. Oh yeah, I'm going to do something like that. Okay. These unroll really fast too. That's why I have these lovely little pins to stick in here. Have some different textures going on. Well, there it is. I was like, where'd the pin go? Oh, yikes, y'all, I just stabbed myself. Oh, nothing like that to wake you up, right? Okay. And the hot glue should be working. I'm gonna put a little bit on there. And I don't feel like it has to be stuck down, like super duper stuck down. Oh my gosh, I'm bleeding on my flower. Yikes. I haven't done that in a long time. I may have to, I don't know if I have a Band-Aid close by. Okay. I don't know what to do about that. I really don't want I really don't want to have the blood on my flower. I wonder if I can pull this off. Let's just pull this off and throw it away. All right. Now, we'll just put a different flower. Just something else. Let's just see what I already have cut out. That one's kind of cute. All right. And I'm no longer bleeding. Everything's good. And probably use regular glue now that I have this paper right there. But there we go. Okay. I said that the white flower wasn't exactly my favorite on there, so maybe that was what was supposed to happen. Who knows, right? Okay, super, super cute. And again, later I will make things, you know, to fit in here, but you got this nice deep pocket and they get a little more shallow as you come down, right? Okay, that one kind of just fades away in there. Okay, so that was one. Now, again, just do the first one if you want to make one this size. Just do one bag, okay? Now, let's make it just out of some cardstock. If you want to do something similar, but you don't have bags. I know somebody looked at the bags that I get on Amazon and, you know, I buy them. I mean, they come in like you get 100 or 75 or 150, whatever, depending on, you know, which pack you pick. And then a lot of people don't want, they don't want to have bags that size. Now, this is the paper that I've already cut the white trim off. So it measures about 10.5 by 8. I'm going to make this, I'm going to cut this to 5 inches, which was the width, or depending on how you turn it, the height of these bags, just to show you, again, a similar project. So all I'm going to do, and I'll probably add an extra pocket on this one, is I'm going to fold this up. And again, if your piece is 8 inches, 5 by 8, if you want to, you can score it 3 inches and you're going to have this guy. And you're like, Pam, what about the white? Well, I kind of liked it. you know, with the little strip. Whoops, let me get the correct strip. Where is the piece that, did I chop? I didn't chop a piece off. Never mind. All right, we're gonna go back and cut another one 5 inches so that we have the correct, oh, I don't want 5, I want 4 3/4. Yeah. Think before you cut your paper, Pam, because I feel like I'm wasting paper now. Okay, I want it to be a border, so I'm doing 4 3/4, and I'm gonna just cut this one at 1 1/2, just so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so this is gonna layer in there just like that. Okay, now if you want to see the white all the way around like I did on this one, you could make it more narrow. I am going to try it like this and only have the white on the 3 sides. And then I'm going to add another pocket below, and I'm going to make it 1 3/4 inches. I was looking at the flower to make that decision. And I'm going to put it right here. Now, if you want to mimic this looking more like the bag, but you know, with the white, we could cut a piece that is 5 inches. This is going to make sense in just a second. I did 1 3/4, so I'm going to make this one 2. And we can put this here, and maybe I will trim this one up so that we have the white, and it's going to sort of mimic a bag because you'll have the border around it. So let me just do that for you guys. This one I'm going to trim down here in just a minute. Let me go ahead. All right. So this was the 5 by 8 piece of paper. If you want to make it the size I did, we scored it at 3 inches. I'm going to go ahead and close this pocket up. So glue on the 2 sides. And I'm going to go ahead and ink the white and the patterned strip. I'm going to glue this down, and there'll be that 1/8 of an inch border. There we go. And then I'm just going to glue it on here as a pocket. So I'm going to hold it where I want to keep it open at the top, and we'll put glue on 3 sides. Your other option could have been to make all of this out of just white paper, craft paper, whatever, and then layer like we did with the pockets or with the bags. But I don't know. I just thought this would be different and that we could try it. And I think it's interesting. Okay, this is 1 inch, so I need to cut this to 3/4 of an inch. Should be right there. After I said I wasn't going to do that. But since I did this one, yes, look at that. Doesn't that look great? Now, I didn't pay attention to layering the pattern like I did on the other one, but I still think it looks fabulous. Fabulous. Ta-da. All right. And then we are going to just add a touch of ink, just like that. And now we have 2 pockets, or we can do this one oriented this way if we want to. This one I just did the 1 pocket, but I did that fancy flower. Now, tell me what you think and which ones you like or which ones are your favorites. I would love Love, love to know. And I am going to, I have all of these pieces too, so we could, on this one we just did together, and this one, we could real quick make a few things to go inside them and decorate the front of this one. So I'm thinking, where's this paper? Maybe, I don't know. I was thinking about trying to do another flower, but I think we'll do this. How about believe in miracles? And I'm going to try to get closer to the words this time on the first tear. There we go. And we put that here. I definitely feel like the tan, whatever that is, burlappy kind of ribbon, definitely added something there. I think I'm going to use the crinkled seam binding to top whatever tags we tuck in here. That we're just going to make some really simple ones. I feel like the 2 and the 2 is just too much. Let's just glue this down. Button would be cute too, wouldn't it? Okay. Let's glue that there. And then, I am wondering if this takes the widest that it cuts the way it's supposed to is 2.5 inches. All right, I'm going to cut this here to use that for something. And then I'm going to chop this down to 2.5 inches. I haven't used this punch in a while. You can do a 1.5, 2, and a 2.5 inch, and they all have like a different fancy top. I've had this thing forever. And it is fun and a quick way to make some tags. Oh my goodness, puppies are barking. Barky, barky. Let's put a little bit of green. Now, whenever you're gonna go through a hole like this, you need more ribbon than if you're just gonna like tie it on really quick. So I did cut that piece a little bit longer. These colors, I was really surprised at how pretty they go with this paper. Surprised in a good way. All right, so that was fun. Let's do, didn't trim this paper very well. I'm thinking on this one, I think this kind of goes with that paper, but it doesn't need to all match. These do coordinate, and I think I'm going to make this into 2 with just like a little torn top. And I did some that I also backed on, that'll look pretty there, that I backed on Book Page, and that looked really good too, I thought. Let's just kind of tuck a few things in, and then we will get some ribbon action going. All right, I'm going to use this one, I believe, in this small folder. I have my hair up, which I tend to do a lot when I'm crafting, and for some reason it's falling down today, just falling down. Let's see, what else do I have? Some of the colors in the kit, even though I love them, you know, go towards other background pages, you know, and like I just, they don't quite, they don't quite match the way I would like them to. So I'm going to skip those. Let's put this one here maybe, and this one back here. And then, ooh, let's do a little skinny one. A little skinny one. And I think this one I'm going to fold in half and make into a skinny one. And I may even chop the corners off of these skinny ones. Use this little tiny template here and have wrong scissors. They feel different, believe it or not, even though they're the same style and brand. The ribbon ones are much tighter. They're newer as well, and definitely sharper, because I'm trying desperately not to cut paper with them if I can avoid it. I think I told you guys my husband has taken to sending me these funny crafting memes. And one he sent recently was, my mantra today is not to lose my 37th pair of scissors this week. Something like that. It was really funny. I think he's funny when he sends me those. It lets me know he's thinking about me, and he's having fun too with my lovely crafting hobby, business, whatever y'all want to call it. Let's put a little piece of this one through here. Again, slapping a piece of ribbon on something makes all the difference in the world to me. There we go. All right. Let's do that and that. And I'm not going to worry about putting ribbons on those right now. And then here, what a cutie pie this little one is. Let's go with a little piece of this, and then I'll do something on one of those. And maybe a bow on one of those, just to make it look different. And then we'll call it a day. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you're still with me, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Drop me a comment if you're able to and feel so inclined. I would love for you to hype it, all the things. And just let me know what you're thinking about and if you're enjoying my videos. All right, one more, and I think I want it to be this color. And we're going to tie a little bow. And I could have punched a hole and then tied the bow, but I haven't backed these on anything, so they're not super duper thick. I'm just going to glue this on. There we go. Everything's wiggling today. All right. Yay. Cute bow. See, makes all the difference, doesn't it? All right. I hope you like these simple ideas, but ways to use things in your stash. Like I said, you could make up a whole bunch in like a more neutral kind of paper, and what a great thing to have to then add to your journals as you go. All right. Have a great day, everybody. Until next time. Thanks for watching.